Hello, everyone. Angela Jordan Perry, Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling. We are going to try and get another feed going here, live feed. See if I can't get Maria in here, our guest speaker for today, our guest interviewee. Let's give it another try. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm not sure what that was all about, but here we go again. We had to cut out with everybody, but so now I just need to do my little share again. So just give me a quick moment to do that.
Okay.
And we will be all set, okay?
Yep.
Hello, everybody logging in. Let us know where you're viewing us from. If you're on the Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling, be sure to hit the share button. Hi there. Let us know where you're viewing us from.
Okay, let me see if I can get this going here.
Okay, hold on. I'll let you know when I've shared it. It'll be a quick moment.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm so happy you're watching.
All right. Okay, I'm going to hit the share button, and then if you hold on, I'll let you know when you refresh.
Okay.
Okay, you can refresh. Hello, everyone. Yeah, let us know where you're coming from. Hi, Pierina from New York. Hello. Hi, Latif. How are you? Thanks for joining in. Let us know where you are joining in from, and we will be getting started. Maria, once you hit the refresh on the Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling, you'll be able to share that link. New York in the house. Woo-hoo.
Okay.
Here to support Maria and all parents that homeschool. Woo. All righty. So if you all would please be sure to hit the share button so that we can get it out to all the homeschoolers and all those who are considering homeschooling. And if you have not joined the Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling page, be sure to go over there. So when we have other great interviewees like Maria today who come on, you can get notification and you'll know when we go live. This week is my interview blitz week. So I'm telling you, we have about 8. You let me know when you're ready, Maria, when you shared it.
Yep, I did.
We have about,
I got that done.
Okay, you did? Okay, great. We have about, I have 8 interviews set up for this week. So this mama over here is going to be rocking and rolling. Okay, great. So Maria, you got it shared on your page, and we're going to get started.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Kiela, for joining in with us today. All right. Are you ready, Maria?
Yes, I am.
All right. Great. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling. This is Angela Jordan Perry, and my purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on as many thousands of homeschoolers as possible. And I am turned up for today's interview with Maria Gonzalez. Woohoo! Hola, mi amiga, chica guapa.
Okay.
So we have Maria. Maria, are you ready to make it happen?
I am. I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Okay, no problem. We're just gonna be girlfriends. So,
Okay.
Maria Isabel Gonzalez was born in Dominican Republic, raised in the heart of New York City, and relocated to Summerville, South Carolina, just in 2016. Maria is 26 years old. She is married with 2 little girls that she homeschools. Maria and her family, like I said, relocated to South Carolina, in part for educational freedom, being that New York City is very heavily regulated in their homeschooling. But Maria is a stay-at-home mom. She, of course, is a homeschooling mom, and she is a mompreneur. So I have just given a brief background about you, Maria. Please tell us more about you and how you actually got started on your journey to homeschooling.
So that actually goes back to my experience in my senior year of high school. I've been with my husband since my senior year of high school, and we are actually teenage parents. So being a teenage mom, a pregnant teen, my senior year of high school in a Jesuit Catholic high school in New York City isn't necessarily an easy situation. What makes it a lot harder is being with the father of your child in the same school. So that experience was very unpleasant. I would say we were ostracized. We had a lot of situations where we were put in a lot of positions where we couldn't really even be close to each other because that would call for expulsion from the school. So that caused me to go into a bit of a depression, being pregnant, being young, and not necessarily having support from the school that that I was attending. And of course, I never felt that it should be something that's promoted. At the same time, an institution that's backed by believing in God, having Christian beliefs, I assumed it would be a lot more loving, a lot more supportive. So I had a really, really terrible experience, everything from being separated from my boyfriend, who is now my husband, to being insinuated to have an abortion and things of that nature. So I said to myself, I would never want my child that I was pregnant with at the time to subject her to that kind of a situation, whether it be something that she does that just anything that she were to do, I didn't think that being pregnant was the end of the world. I didn't think that it was an STD. I didn't think anything like that. So I just didn't want to subject her to something like that. And for her to think that that's what Christians are about. We have a lot of different experiences with different kinds of Christians, people from different kinds of backgrounds. And I just wanted to show her what I believe the love of God looked like. And it definitely wasn't that. So
Gotcha.
we decided we were going to take care of their education.
Okay, and so that experience is what catapulted you and gave you the clear direction to homeschool just from that experience.
Yeah, that partly from that experience. I didn't really know what homeschooling was exactly. I had seen maybe one or two children in New York City. You don't really hear of homeschooling. You kind of think of that something that either really rich people do because they can afford tutors, or maybe because your child has special needs, but never really as a normalized thing. So as we started getting around different people and we knew that they homeschooled, I thought maybe this is something that I can take on too, even though it went against popular consensus amongst mostly everyone that I knew. So
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So since this was like new charted territory, you hadn't seen it other than what you just described, how was your family, receptive to this? How did that come about?
um they actually didn't understand at all. So my parents are immigrants. I don't think in DR it's very common either, for people to homeschool their children. You have expats and foreigners that do it over there as well, but really it's not something that you really hear of growing up. So I got a lot of opposition, which I would assume hopefully was with my children's best interest at heart. Like, a lot of people were telling me, what about the socialization? How are they going to get to interact with other kids? And then I just had plainly other people telling me that I'm not capable. Don't you need a degree? Like, what makes you think that you can do a better job than a certified teacher? So kind of as a threat. Some people see it as a threat as well. Like, I'm taking away from somebody that went to school for that.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting perspective. I've never heard that one before,
that
but
I got that a
definitely.
lot.
Wow. 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 So how long have you been homeschooling now, Maria?
um I would say since Taylor was born, we always had an education process going, but in terms of getting her started in kindergarten, I would say back in 2014 was when we really started digging into a curriculum.
Okay. All right. So how was this? This was always your dream, your plan. You had thought about it. I mean, although it's a new concept for you, how was it actually in action when you first started? Tell us that.
So it literally just started by me doing research. How do I homeschool? And then the first thing that came up amazingly was HSLDA. So I knew right away that I should get partnered up with some kind of legal system that would help me in case I needed it, which I did end up needing it.
Wow.
Yeah, not to a higher degree, but I did need it. And I started figuring out what the rules are for New York based on the publications, and we just started that way.
Okay, okay, yes. So for those of you who don't know what HSLDA is, this is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. So basically, they keep eyes on all the laws all over the country, and sometimes they help abroad, but mostly in the country. So they have knowledge of the different laws in each state, because each state has a different setup of law of how you have to homeschool. And as I understand it, New York has probably the strictest, and I want to hear you share that if you remember some of that law, just so the viewers can be educated on that. But I've heard, quite a few serious situations in New York. But basically, HSLDA will come in if you need help. Say, for example, the state that I am in South Carolina, if there are schools that will not allow students to come in and play sports, homeschool students, because as homeschoolers in South Carolina, we still can participate in those things. So what happens, HSLDA, we can contact them and say, hey, this district is giving me a hard time, will not allow me to have my student involved in extracurricular activities. I would really appreciate if you can, and they're like the go-between. So they will go between you and that district or school and give them the law and say, this is the law, you must abide by the law. Or sometimes they would just send out a paperwork or something like that. So it is great to have HSLDA
Yes,
on your side.
definitely.
If you're not familiar with it, you can just go to their website and educate you. I've been with them since I started, and that was in
Right.
Virginia. And I've had them all these years. Literally, I've never really had to use them much, but they're always great to have. So, tell us what if you feel
Oh yeah,
comfortable, tell us
sure.
what was your need for HSLDA when you were in New York schooling?
So I signed up with them just like you as soon as I knew that I was gonna start homeschooling. Um, I lived in Manhattan, which is one of the 5 boroughs. They're
Okay,
treated so New York City is treated a little differently than New York State in general.
okay,
What I find myself having a hard time with homeschooling in New York is not necessarily the rules and the laws per se, but I would say it's more of the bureaucracy that comes along with it. So
okay,
they have certain rules. You have to give in quarterly reports. You have to send in your letter of intention. Fine. So what I made sure to do with the advice of HSLDA is to make sure that I certify copy everything and just get it in ahead of time. So issue being is that for all 5 boroughs, they only had, I believe, 4 people handling millions of students. I mean, it's probably not
wow,
millions of homeschooling students, but the Board of Ed was the one that was on top of it. So
okay,
4 people, I know their work was backed up, and I could understand that. So I was patient with them. I didn't hear back from them for a while. They
yeah,
generally say that you cannot communicate with them through the phone or through email, as it's not recorded. For some reason, they made an exception with me. I was able to communicate back and forth with the person that had just taken over. So the previous person, when I sent my stuff, was not the same person I was communicating with at that point. So
okay,
I didn't hear back from them. They didn't send me my package where you put in the curriculum, what you're going to be studying, until I would say November of 2015, when I had sent that stuff back in August. So their excuse was that they were backed up. At first, they tried to say I never sent anything. I got a return receipt saying that it was returned. But what really set everything off was on a Saturday morning, I was home with my girls. Thankfully, my husband, who usually works on Saturdays, was home at that point, and we received a knock on the door. So I told Michael, who's my husband, go ahead and check and see who's there. We weren't expecting anyone, and it was somebody from the homeschooling section of Board of Ed. And he wanted to know why we hadn't sent in any paperwork, that we were being
mm,
put on alert, and that he would have to come in and inspect our home. So
wow,
what I read from HSLDA is do not ever let them in without reaching out to us first. So I let Michael know he cannot come into the home. He let us know that if he did come in, he would have to inspect our house to make sure that it was being appropriately taken care of and that our kids weren't being abused. So
okay.
this just set everything off. My husband has some strong fellowship with him, letting him know you are not going to be allowed to come in. I'll
I
reach
like
out to
strong
you.
fellowship.
Right. To keep it simple, we'll make sure that we reach out to you guys on Monday. Immediately, I called HSLDA. They sent them a nice letter. I didn't hear back from them until a couple weeks later, pushing and pushing and pushing that they were going to need to come inspect our home. So in the midst of that, we had already decided we were relocating to South Carolina. So I just let it be as it was. We moved. I let them know that we moved. And even still, after we moved, they were still harassing me, making sure,
Yep.
what district are you guys in? Who are you reporting to? This and that. I just ignored it. And HSLDA told me not to worry about it, that they were going to get it taken care of. And crazily enough, I get an email from HSLDA a couple months later that they're suing the homeschool division of the New York Board of Ed.
Wow.
So
Wow.
a
Wow.
lot
Wow,
of
wow,
families
wow.
were having issues.
I've heard that type of stories from people who have lived in New York. I mean, I have, and it's almost hard to believe, but yeah, your story is not unheard of. Is very,
Okay.
very like it. So yeah, so a few, let's see, Heather says that she has HSLDA is worth $100 a year. Yeah, you can pay the $100 right out a year. You can do it monthly at $10 a month, and it's $120. So it's worth it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, so because you just never know, and they just really have your back. I mean, they really,
do.
really do. I mean, boom, they're right on it. So very professional. So thanks for sharing that, Maria. So you all, this is Maria Isabel Gonzalez that we have with us today. Woohoo! A Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling. So if you all be so kind to go ahead and share this and make sure other homeschoolers in your sphere of influence know about this. This is a platform for homeschoolers to give their voice, their journeys, their successes, challenges, their encouragements, and really just to root you all on and say, if I can do it, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Even in all the ways that we look different in doing it. So, Maria, take us to your first year of homeschooling. How was that? I mean, yeah, like you have been dreaming about it, you thought about it and planned it. Other than that little hiccup there, how was the actual start of the journey for homeschooling?
The start was really, really fun. So Taylor was starting preschool, and we just kept it really simple. I used other mediums aside from the curriculum. We just made everything a learning experience. We went a lot to the Children's Museum of Manhattan. That was always the fun experience, and we were just really hands-on with it. I was following a curriculum at the time, so we did make sure to get our days done, but they were relatively short, which I was extremely surprised by, because I always thought homeschooling was having school at home. And I soon learned that you can do it a very different way. You can cater it to how you guys want to do it. So I wish I would have learned that a lot sooner, but it was fun. It was really fun. Taylor really enjoyed it.
Okay, so tell us, what is your normal habit of homeschooling day? For you personally, for you with the girls, now that they're older, what is your habit?
Okay, so this is going to be extremely different, I'm thinking, or maybe not. We don't have a set schedule. We don't have a set routine. I'm more of what you would call an unschooler on the broad sense of a term.
Mm-hmm.
My girls learn in a lot of different ways. Like I said, we're extremely hands-on, so whatever we're learning about, as much as we're financially able to, we're hands-on with it. So if today's theme is, well, let's take Black History Month, for example. We did this a lot last year. Every person that we were learning about, that of course was in our radius, we either went to visit their home, if it was a historical point. We either went to a plantation. When we were studying the history of the Dominican Republic, where I'm from, we took advantage of a trip we were taking to the Dominican Republic. We took them to the first settlement, the oldest city in the New World. We also do make sure that we get our days done from our curriculum, but that's when they're ready to do it. So sometimes they wake up and they're ready for school at 9 a.m. Sometimes they're not ready at 9 a.m. and we're ready to do it at 2 p.m. So I know some people don't necessarily like that approach, but it works for us. And what I found is that I have kids that are kind of self-motivated, and there are days where I wasn't really feeling it. I was either really sick or down, and they're like, Mommy, can we just get our school done? So it kind of showed me that you can push, you can pull back a little bit, and they'll let you know how much they can handle.
Wow, that's so your schooling is pretty much like student led. I mean,
Yes.
they lead, okay, we're ready to start. And so, Maria, a lot of, I guess the fact that you said they're so self-motivated helps with that, but a lot of homeschool parents feel like if I give my children that freedom to decide when we're going to get started, we won't have school ever. I mean, what did you do, or what made your girls not have that mindset? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna sleep all day and we'll have it 6 o'clock for about an hour, or we're gonna play games most of the day. What made your girls not have that mindset?
I mean, I think the parents do have a lot to do with the attitude of the home, I would say. My husband and I come from like pretty rough beginnings. Not saying that we had a rough childhood, but he comes from a single mom background. I come from hardworking, business owning parents that were barely home. They were always in the business. So we've always been, I guess, driven. And from the moment the kids were born, we've kind of put them on the mentality that whatever you're going to do, you have to win at it. So with my oldest, for example, she went through a period with a lot of anxiety outbreaks, days that we would try to do school and she just wasn't able to handle it. So we fell back for a couple of months and I put no pressure on her. But when she went to church, or when she went to dance class, or when she went to a play date and she saw this child is at this level and they're doing this, she just automatically wanted to rise to that occasion. So I kind of taught her, if this is what you want to achieve, you have to put in the work. Mommy's never going to force you. When it came to ballet, for example, or dance, I let her know, you're getting signed up in this because you want to do it, not because mommy's forcing you to do it. And the moment I see that you're not motivated, we're not going to allow you to continue to do that and waste our time and your time. So same thing with school. You want to get this lesson done by this certain time, you have to do this amount of hours, you have to do this many lessons, let's get it done. And I guess by the grace of God, they just understand, like, we want this bad. We know what it takes to get it, and we just want to get it done by that point.
Very commendable. That's excellent. That's very commendable. So they're very much peer motivated.
Yeah, and I would say too, it maybe it's the fact that they've never been indoctrinated in a normal school setting, where they have certain deadlines that are there because of a teacher wanting them to reach this level by this point in time. So they've kind of been taught that way from the beginning. They haven't seen anything other than that. So all they know is when you want something, you have to put in the work for it. For you.
Right. Gotcha. So let's shift gears for a moment. Now, most families nowadays, we all know that oftentimes it takes two incomes to, make it work, but there are a lot of homeschoolers who are on one income and they have their own story of how they make it work. Tell us about your story. You don't have to go in very detail, but give some encouragement and insight on two homeschool incomes, one income. Can it be done? What do you do to make it work while you're homeschooling?
So I'm kind of making myself a little vulnerable right now. So like I said, we did make the decision to be, well, not the decision. We found out I was pregnant. I was a teenage parent. So I went in to live with Michael. So we kind of started off living with family at first. We kind of graduated from the School of Hard Knocks. So we had a lot of financial moments in our life that were not good, but it was just determination. We made it work however we made it work. Michael is extremely, extremely hardworking, and he sees the value in having me home with the children. And we've come up with many creative ways where maybe his income wouldn't have been enough. We would go out, we would do events, we would do things where you're a brand ambassador, you work for the weekend. We just always figured out how to make it work because we decided, I'm going to homeschool, I'm going to be home with the kids. Relocating had a lot to do with being able to sustain that lifestyle. As you may know, New York City is extremely expensive. We knew that for what we wanted, we weren't going to be able to live there for a certain period of time. So we made that decision to just make sure we had enough to keep us over for a few months while he found a different job. And thank God, since then, we've been okay.
Okay. So it's a work in progress, but it can be done.
Yes, for sure it can be done. Homeschooling, I see it doesn't have to be traditional. If it's maybe that your husband goes out and works during the day he comes back home and you work during the night, the children were already homeschooled during the daytime. If it's that you're picking up a babysitting gig, which I did a couple times as well to help bring money into the house, we did that because I can homeschool them and still babysit. I picked up a weekend job a couple of times, so we just made sure to make it work. And also, I think because we were open-minded to the fact that you can homeschool from anywhere at any time, anyhow.
Yes, yes, you all hear that. So that thought process is where either you're rich to homeschool or you got to have these two incomes to really make it or whatever the case may be. If your heart desire and motivation is to
Right,
homeschool your children, be with them, we all find a way to make it happen,
right.
right? We find a way to make it happen. So very good. So Maria, let's transition again. Take us back to your worst day of homeschooling. A day where it was just so bad, you were just like ready to throw in a towel. Maybe you threw the public school thing up at them, but you didn't quit, and that's why you're the successful homeschooling mom you are now. So take us to that day.
Oh man, I can't pinpoint one day. I can pinpoint maybe an attitude that happens a couple times a month even, or maybe in a year. Um, I mean, siblings, I don't know. Some people say siblings fight because of how the parents are. Some people say my kids have never fought before because we make sure to keep a positive home. But the way I was raised, we fight with our siblings sometimes. Like, it happens. So my girls are no exception. They have their days where no matter what they're doing, if one even looks at the other, it's a fight. So there's been quite a few times where it just happens. Even when they're doing their schooling, I'll have my little one learning to read today, and then the big one will come and repeat what she says. And that'll just set her off. It'll break her concentration. She'll start crying, Mommy, I can't do this. I'm not concentrating. And just World War III happens at home. And really, I have to sit them to the side, use that strong fellowship again, and let them know, listen, if you guys don't want this as much as I want it, I'm not putting up with it. You guys can go back out to school tomorrow. Like, I don't care. And it gets them to that point. They're like, Mommy, no, we're sorry. We don't want to go out to school. Can we just get over it and try again? So it's happened quite a few times.
Interesting.
Yeah,
As many people I have talked to who have said, I'm sending you back to public school. I'm done with it. Get it together, whatever. All the kids are like, no,
yeah,
no, don't send me. And not to say that, we understand and we're not bashing public school at all.
of
That's
course
not the
not.
heartbeat because public school has its place. But for our kids who are used to this level of freedom, a shorter time of schooling for the day, and the
Mhm.
freedom to decide, okay, I'm going to school later, Mommy, versus now. I mean, that freedom is priceless.
Yeah,
And they know that. So when that card is thrown at them, they're like, "Woo, no, no,
yeah.
no."
Especially if you have
I,
strong-willed children. They don't.
yes, yes. They get together really, really, really quick. So,
Yeah.
so tell us, what is your most proudest moment in your homeschooling journey? Take us to that moment, Maria.
Okay, so it would be after taking a break with Taylor for a few months. She had started in first grade. It was going pretty well. We had some issues where she was getting anxiety attacks a lot during the day where I had to just make the decision like, listen, baby, we're not going to pressure you to do school. We'll get it done when you're willing, when you're able to, so that you can actually retain the information that you're learning. I don't want you to just mark a day off the page and say I'm done because I'm done. So
Right.
I would say that took about 3-4 months of her having to take a break and us having to work through different activities to get her to a place where she felt confident just being her and being able to function. So we made a plan after that, and she's like, Mommy, I think I can get 4 to 5 days of my curriculum done in one day. And we really made that a goal. So she was able to finish, I would say, 3/4 of first grade in a matter of 2.5 months. And having
Wow.
that last day checked off of our calendar, like, it brought me to tears. And she was just so happy. She's like, Mommy, I really did it. And I told her, baby, like, this was all you. All mommy did was guide you along the way, but you did it because you were able to overcome. And it makes me emotional even now, because just looking at her and seeing where she was, where she felt that she wasn't going to be able to do anything. She was having panic attacks even just waking up, and seeing her be able to say, like, mommy, I did it, I finished. She was just so proud. And I would say to this point, that's the best experience I've had.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sounds like you have a similar setup to where I have self-learners. You pretty much tell them or show them this is what they have to do, and then they go through that pace. Is that how you set up
For the most
part
part,
of your schooling?
yes. When it comes to the curriculum, that's exactly how we do it. They get on it themselves. Of course, with Summer, who's my youngest, right now she's still learning how to read. So that one I'm a little more hands-on with. But Taylor, now that she has her reading down packed, whenever she needs my help, she calls me. I'll go into that, and when she's done, I'll just check her work. So
Okay. And what grades are they, Maria?
So right now Taylor's in between 2nd and 3rd grade. She has a goal of reaching 4th grade by September. So we're shooting for it, and we're gonna make it happen. And Summer's in kindergarten, and she should be in 1st grade sometime this summer.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, girlfriends, again, we are with Maria Isabel Gonzalez, and she's out of South Carolina, from Dominican Republic to New York to South Carolina, a plant here. And this is really good. We're going to dig into some really quick questions, just some quick questions to pick your brain so you can give us quick answers on these. So what is your favorite quote that helps you through your homeschooling journey?
My favorite quote, I don't have one. I'm sorry.
You have a scripture verse or a mantra, or
you know what? Maybe it is a favorite quote. I could take that back. It's the last Rocky movie. Not one of the Rocky numbers, but the Rocky where his son is there, and he talks about, how going through the hardships in life. And it's so funny because I used this in my vows for my wedding. But it's not how hard you fall, but it's how quick you get back up. And I think that's helped us a lot in our homeschooling.
Cool. It's not how hard you fall, but how quick you get back up.
Right.
Very good. Now, do you plan to homeschool through high school?
I do. I plan on taking it as far as we can go.
Okay. And what is a curriculum or a book or a CD or something that you would like to recommend that you think every homeschooling home must have this, whatever that is?
We're using Easy Peasy Homeschool. I'm sure a lot of parents are using it as well. I like it because you kind of get to customize it to what is best for your child at that moment. So I think if you want a good foundation, Easy Peasy is a very good one to start with.
Okay. What is something unique that you do in your homeschool that you're proud of? Like, this is a Gonzalez family homebred something. What is that?
I would say it comes to the name of our school. It's called Freedom School. So I really pride myself with knowing that our school, we're free thinkers. We go against the grain. Whatever the majority says is right is probably not right for us. And when we want something, we go after it. We figure out what needs to get done for it to get done.
Okay. All right. Very good. And what is the best piece of advice that you received that during your homeschooling journey? What is the best piece of advice that you?
What I've received as the best piece of advice has to be, I had a friend that told me, she's also a homeschooler, stop trying to model your schooling after what you think is supposed to be homeschool. There's no right way to homeschool. Make sure that whatever you're doing works for you and for your family.
Very good. And you feel like you've been true to that?
I have been lately, yes. When I first started, I haven't been. I cared about what everyone else had to say. Now that is out the window. It's all about how we're doing things and how we know that it's right for us.
Beautiful, beautiful. Apart from Easy Peasy that you mentioned, is there any other resources or online tools or an app on your phone that you've used or using that has helped to have a successful homeschooling?
I would say since they're still young and when Taylor was a bit younger, ABC Mouse was really awesome because it works with a reward system and they get to track their progress with the little school bus at the bottom, and it just kept them really, really motivated. Another one is called Starfall.com, I believe that it is, and it's just extremely interactive and the kids love it. So if you want to figure out a way for them to have fun with schooling, I think ABC Mouse and Starfall are really great.
Is ABC Mouse, is that an online or is that an app or?
You can use it both ways. So you sign up online and you can download the app to your phone. So the app on your phone isn't as extensive as the website version, but it still does well.
Okay, good. And if you all have any questions you'd like me to pop in and give to Maria, please let us know. Go ahead and post that. Someone says they love ABC Mouse. Yeah, I remember ABC Mouse from my oldest, and that was 20-something years ago. It's been around a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
We love ABC Mouse. So tell us, do you have a favorite book that you read to help you get started on your homeschooling?
I actually haven't read books on homeschooling. What I've done is a lot of YouTube, believe it or not. I'm the kind of person also when I research one topic and it leads into another topic, I'll open up a web browser and a separate web page and just go expand on that topic. So when I researched, for example, different methods of homeschooling, the one that appeased to me the most was unschooling. So I went in and I started researching on that. I found tons of YouTube videos. I saw that, like many other topics, putting an umbrella title over a certain thing, there's still going to be things that you do agree and you disagree with it. So
Sure.
just expounding on that research and making sure that you cater it to you. So Google can really be a good asset if you know what you're doing.
If you're like me, I end up having like 10 tabs open because
Yes,
I'm looking
especially
at
on my phone.
My husband's like, Angela, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And I keep them open until my computer's like going so slow. I need to start closing out stuff.
Exactly.
So very good. But here we go. Here is the last question, Maria, the $1,000,000 question. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So if you had to start all over again, day one of homeschooling, but you have your current knowledge, your current wisdom, skills, convictions, what would be the thing you would start new for the Gonzalez family homeschool that you would have wished to have implemented?
I would have started unschooling since day number one. I would have taken off all the pressure of having to school my child into this mindset that you have to make sure you get this done so you can get into a good college. Or if you decide to have to go to high school later, we have to get this done. I would have let go of that mindset from the very beginning because that is not what our homeschool is about. It's about developing them as people that can be great functioning members of society that are, one, extremely compassionate, two, loving, but three, also very knowledgeable. Not only book smart, but just knowing our history, knowing where we come from, and knowing what our place is in this world and how we can make it better.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
excellent, excellent. Yes, excellent answer. So, any last words of advice, Maria, and also share with us how you're outreaching to the community, your own business, your mompreneur. Share with us on that, and then how can our viewers get in contact with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing or more about your schooling?
Sure. So, okay, repeat the first question of that one more time for me.
Yeah, any last words of advice?
So, what I would let people know is if you guys really want to homeschool for whatever reason, just sit down and come up with a game plan. If you're a single parent, it can be done somehow, some way. If you're in a relationship with your husband, just sit down, plan it. It can definitely happen. If you guys really want it to work, you'll make it work. That may sound insensitive, and I do not mean it that way by any means necessary, but I'm sure that where there's a will to homeschool, there's definitely a way to do it. Start your research early. Reach out to people that are homeschooling as well that are not going to judge you on how you want to homeschool, are not going to condemn you for it, and just find yourself. It doesn't even have to be a big community of homeschoolers, but just having that one person. And if it needs to be me, you guys can add me on Facebook, and I'm here to talk to you for it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Definitely.
And tell us, what is your outreach into the homeschool? What is it you do, mompreneur, so that others can connect with you as they're interested?
Definitely. So, since I'm away from most of my family and friends, most of my outreach is on social media. So if you guys want to reach out to me on Instagram, my name is Mirenity on there, and it's MIRENITY, or on Facebook. And the way I'm outreaching is mostly through just passing along knowledge that I'm learning at the time. My knowledge was extremely suppressed before. It was very indoctrinated, but now I just put out stuff that's raw, that's not necessarily popular, but I know that it's going to better our community one way or another. And just by homeschooling my kids, I know they're going to be out in the world. So your outreach starts at home. Make sure that you're raising kids that know how to function in society the right way.
Beautiful, beautiful. Girlfriends on Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling, you are the average sum of the 5 people you hang around with.
Definitely.
And you have been hanging with Maria Isabel Gonzalez today. So you all keep up the momentum and stay in connection with people who are bringing positive impact into your life and into your homeschooling. And again, just keep up that momentum. Be sure you all to go to our Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling page, like and follow there. So every time we get these amazing interviews and other things that I put out there, you're getting that insight. I have a new series that I'm coming out with called I can't say it, Minimalist. There we go, Minimalist Homeschooling.
Okay.
And so you want to be in the know with that. We're both on YouTube and Facebook. It's Girlfriends' Guide. That's an S and then apostrophe. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. So just remember that to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making a positive impact day to day, month after month, year after year as you homeschool your children. So Maria, Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling is grateful for you. Thank you so much for taking up your time to share with us and encourage us and give us some insights to homeschooling. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So listen, girlfriends, I'm going to put out a recap of Maria, this conversation. I took some great notes and her insights and things she's recommended. Yeah, give her a thumbs up and some love. So be sure to look for those show notes as we have the post there. And then also just be sure, again, I just want to encourage be sure to encourage others who are homeschooling, on the homeschooling journey, that they can do it, okay? Hopefully you have received that encouragement and that enlightenment that anything is possible as you put your hands to it. So good, thank you so much. Again, all this week's interviews every single day, just like what you've seen with Maria. So again, Maria, God bless you, and we appreciate you. You all have a great day.
You have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.